Okay, thank you, Mike, and welcome everyone. I'm Stephen Miller. I'm the co-PI for NCyTE, and our speakers today is Corrinne Sande. She's the NCyTE Executive Director, and Anna Ritchie, who's the NCyTE Project Manager. And today's topic is the cybersecurity across disciplines, teaching cybersecurity across the disciplines. So I'll turn this over to Corrinne and Anna.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Corrinne Sande, and I'm here to talk to you about a conference that we'll be holding August 1st and 2nd. Okay, here we go. So the name of the conference is CIAD, or Cybersecurity Across the Disciplines. So the goal here is to expand cybersecurity awareness and knowledge. And so the idea is that we will have faculty from other disciplines like manufacturing, automotive, autonomous systems, and cybersecurity faculty also at this conference. And there'll be several tracks. And it's really an exchange of information, so our cyber faculty can learn about specific needs for these various industries, and the other faculty can learn about how to incorporate cybersecurity into their program. Next. So here's the flyer for it, but it'll be August 1st and 2nd at Moraine Valley Community College. And there will be travel stipends available. We are hoping to fund up to 120 faculty to attend this. So as I said before, the target audience are community technical college faculty from other ATE disciplines, and further down we'll have a better idea of what we're talking about. We're hoping that this will be an annual event that will include all the ATE national centers. So we have other national centers that are on our steering committee for this to design the conference. And so it's really a way for cybersecurity, you know, to break out of just the cybersecurity bubble and see where it fits into all of these other workforce programs. So here's the general layout for August 1st. In the morning, where there will be a basic introduction to cybersecurity for all ATE Center community college faculty and other disciplines, so that everybody will be on an even playing field when they go into the afternoon workshops. There will be a workshop for the cyber faculty, and that topic is to be determined. We've talked about maybe training on the CSET tool, or something to do with AI or something like that. But anyhow, everybody will be accommodated. Then in the afternoon, the multidisciplinary workshop, how cybersecurity is applied to these particular areas. So manufacturing, automation, critical infrastructure, business, healthcare and life sciences, and automotive autonomous systems from other centers. One thing I want to make clear is that this is not NCyTE providing training. This is an exchange of ideas between the various disciplines, because I know as cybersecurity faculty, trying to teach about like the specific needs of a manufacturing environment, for instance, you've got to have some exposure to that in order to really be knowledgeable about it. And so this hopefully will help with that. Okay, next.
Okay. Yeah, so these next slides are just the descriptions.
Yeah, so just like I said, the first part will be basic cybersecurity. The major topics are cybersecurity principles, and that was because we found that that topic was listed for every single workshop. So we pulled that out and just put it in the basic cybersecurity. And then here's an example of what manufacturing cybersecurity, this track would look like. And so protocol analysis, PLC, smart sensors, IoT in devices. A lot of cybersecurity faculty have not worked with these types of things. So this will give you exposure to that, and then how it fits into the grand scheme of things. Like in a manufacturing environment, there are do's and don'ts for how you actually manage that network that kind of impact the network. So those are the things that would be they would learn in that track. Here we have our critical infrastructure security. This is a little more, a lot of different topics, but, transportation, logistics, energy, roads and traffic control, sewage treatment, which is a hot topic for wastewater treatment, and police and first responders. So critical aspects of cybersecurity related to this critical infrastructure. And then for business teachers, this is more along the lines of like business continuity, business operations, risk management, auditing and compliance, which is a big deal in that. So that would be the track for business. And in healthcare, system testing and operating secure systems, HIPAA, secure system design. And so even though this says cybersecurity for healthcare and life sciences, keep in mind it's a mix of faculty that teach those topics and our cyber faculty. And then automotive security, like car-to-car communication, the connectivity, and satellites, and then your onboard diagnostics, and vehicle to everything. And that one is also a very interesting topic. We've already next. Okay, there will be a call for proposals because we will have on our second day some like little mini workshops on various topics be solicited through this call for proposals. The outcome of this conference, the hope is that each track will produce a case study or scenario that can be used in the classroom for both the cyber faculty and the faculty in that discipline. And so this is the second day. So the second day will be, we're going to wrap up everything we learned. We're going to work on the scenarios and bring in demonstrations of resources and tools. Also, before I forget, the NSA has requested a CAE designation ceremony at this conference, so we will also be having that. We haven't determined the time that will happen, but that's also part of this conference. Here's a link to be notified when registration opens. There will be travel stipends available. We have received additional funding. And so I'm saying we probably can fund 120 faculty. We're probably going to keep this for the first time out, keep it to 300 people. So I would recommend you register early once that's ready to go. And to get your travel stipend, you have to be traveling from outside the event area. And then it ranges, the upper limit is 1,500, and there's a travel support agreement that you sign. And let's see, I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Anna, is there anything you want to add?
Just encourage people to click the link and to let us know you're interested. Because I will, once we have the registration open, we're still figuring out how to coordinate that with our business office. Yeah, so once the registration's open, then I will reach out and I will email you and let you know that it's available. And also on that link, if we have any information available, we'll put it up there as well as it becomes available. Yeah, and you'll probably be coordinating with me for the travel support agreement. So if you have any questions about that, you can contact me.
And it is important, if you are interested in attending, it is important to sign up here because I need to get kind of a feel, you know, like how many people want to come that are interested in automotive, because if it's like 100 or 1/3 of the people, then we're going to have to look at those tracks. So anyways, that's the information about the signing up to express interest. Okay, next. We have done a couple of workshops. There's one coming up, and this is automotive security and car hacking. This is at the Exponential Conference in Denver, and I guess there's like 8,000 people attend that. We've already done one for manufacturing and automation, and that was with Flate in Florida. And then this upcoming one is May 8th, and these are kind of like teaser ones, so we can work out the kinks and see how it goes. So there is a registration link for the automotive security. I don't believe we're supplying stipends for that, however. So, all right, is there another slide?
So how does someone,
Sorry, I can't hear.
I think that was your last slide, but I think.
Is that the last slide, Anna?
yeah, then we have.
Okay, okay, could you go to that last slide?
Yeah.
All right, so for those of you in the audience that do not receive our newsletter or are not a member, here's some links you can go to if you want to sign up for the newsletter. We also have a YouTube channel that has a lot of videos that you can use. And there's also curriculum available, like our e-mates, the interactives, and other things that you can find at the NCyTE.net. I don't know if there's time to take questions, but do we have any questions?
Yeah, there was one in that Mike added one in the chat. So how does somebody express interest in submitting a proposal for the call for proposals?
There will be a call for proposals coming out. Chris Renault at Bossier Parish. Rondeau, yeah, Rondeau. He's running the call for proposals. That should be coming out shortly. And so you would respond to that. That would be another reason to sign up if you're interested in attending, because you would receive the call for proposals.
Corrine, are they going to, are we going to balance the, like, X number of security type folks compared to the other centers?
We haven't like made quotas or anything like that. I think it's kind of a good idea, you know. I was thinking like either 100 or 150 cyber, but you know, the first thing really to gauge, we need to gauge interest. So our original amount of attendees was going to be 200 because we wanted to start small, but we received funding, so we've increased it to 300. So no, we don't have quotas right now.
If an institution has someone like from their business department, would, even though they may not be a center, would that still be okay for that person to sign up? Yeah, okay.
That's perfectly fine. I mean, this, you know, the goal is that people understand how to integrate cyber into these various areas. So it's not like we're only letting certain people in. It's the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned.
That sounds great. Any other questions?
Are there any questions? I can't really see.
Yeah, I don't see any more in the chat.
Any comment? I would be curious of what your any comments from this group about the interest of having these across discipline activities? Anybody got a comment in the chat or just want to unmute and say something?
Stephen, this
Stephen, this is Nate. How would that fit with high school students, in particular seniors that want to go to college and major in some insight? Is there a place for high school to go to this conference, or is it just community colleges and technical schools?
I think it's just geared for the
Faculty.
at this point.
Mhm.
But would that restrict a high school faculty person from attending?
No, not a high school faculty, but students, it probably would.
So Nate, you or Deborah could attend.
Oh, okay.
Gary, you had a question?
No, I just had a comment that, this is really good information. One of the challenges I find is when I talk to other departments about cyber where it's taught, they don't have an understanding. They think it's this real technical stuff, and they don't realize, something as simple as just covering HIPAA or, in the business area, where it would fit in there. So, I do have a high interest. So I'm going to start looking, see if I can get approval to travel.
Oh, that's good, because see, this is kind of risky because I wasn't sure how it would go over. If there seems to be a lot of interest from the other centers. I'm drawing on my personal experience. We have an industrial control systems security class, and I created that after I went to training at Idaho National Labs. Before that, I didn't know anything about industrial networks other than what I've read. But having that experience, understanding ladder logic, setting up a PLC, all of that stuff, I was able to incorporate into our program. And so the hope is this is kind of a similar experience, so that the cyber faculty also, like when you're talking about a healthcare network, you've actually spoken to people that are in that field, and you have like a bigger picture of how it all works, I think is the general idea. Anybody else? I would appreciate feedback, because I want to make sure that this is going to go over, because it wouldn't be good if it was like a lead balloon.
I apologize. I'm on the road listening in, but I'm thinking that you may far surpass 300 who are interested.
Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, Corrinne, I was going to say the same thing. It sounds very interesting. Unfortunately, I'm traveling at that time, but when you put the date for next year, I'll definitely put it on my calendar. Good job.
Okay, good. Thanks. Well, nothing else. Maybe, is that it?
I think so. Okay.
Yeah, I just have a question regarding the cybersecurity across disciplines, the automotive security, and the car hacking. What about if we are like faculty members at like 5 years university? 4-year university, and we are working on the research for IOV. Are we still like eligible for the stipend?
The stipends are intended for community college faculty.
Okay. Is this across all workshops or for this specific one?
For this conference.
Only for this conference?
Yeah, we have other workshops that we do provide stipends. And I'm not saying that that's hard and fast, but the general, we're targeting community college faculty, and the stipends are intended for that.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone else?
I would keep an eye on our information though, because since I've got this influx of additional funds, it's possible we could fund some university faculty.
This will be highly appreciated. Thank you.
Mhm.
But one of the things I can think about from a university perspective, just from my experience with in industry, is that especially from a master's program, teaching awareness at the C-suite type of environment for management is key to understand cyber. So there would be maybe some potential advantage for some of the universities to have to attend, but we'll just have to see how it goes, I guess, as far as the numbers.
Sure.
Oh,
Go ahead,
Stan?
Stan.
Hi, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. This is Stan. I joined late. I had to get a proposal in. I was anyway. I love this topic. It recently came up in my business school. They said, "Why don't we have a cyber program in our business school to teach forensic accounting from the perspective of cyber, because a lot of these auditors are getting into cyber, questioning when they're auditing both public and private organizations." So that's certainly, I don't know if that was touched on with business schools and introducing cyber. I did hear Gary say something to the effect around, right? There's the very technical aspect of cybersecurity. But there's also perhaps more business oriented. And that's an area that I would be quite interested in contributing if there was an opportunity.
So the business track includes compliance and auditing, risk management, business continuity. Also, the way this is structured, in the morning of the first day, there will be like, intro to cybersecurity or cyber 101 for faculty that, have no knowledge or feel that they need, to know more, so that when they go into the tracks, they'll be prepared. So I that's one thing. I'm glad you asked that, because I don't want people feeling they've got to know something about cyber to come to the conference. The whole idea is to introduce it to people that don't know anything about it, so that they can bring it back into their program, while our cyber faculty are also benefiting. So once we start the tracks, it'll be a mix of the cyber and the other faculty in the same track.
That's great, Corrine. And yeah, I'd be able to pass that along here. So if it's available. So thank you.
And I think somewhere maybe in the chat is where the link is to go to register interest. Because, I've been kind of nervous, like maybe it wouldn't go over, but it's starting to sound like it might be pretty popular.
To reemphasize your comments, Stan, my grandson's an auditor for the state of Texas, but all they do now is IT audits, it seems like. And so they're sending their staff to cyber awareness training and cyber training.
Yeah, I think this is still a big topic. I've been hearing it from the small business community as well. They are not, they're worried about staying in business. This is not one of their priorities, but it's becoming so. And I think this, this could be valuable in that aspect too, in addition to the audit perspective. The link, I joined late. Maybe it came in before I joined, but if someone could post a link to show interest, I'd be happy to contribute there as well.
Drop it in.
You have that, Anna, or?
Yeah, Mike's dropping that in.
Oh, okay.
Thanks a lot.
Well, wait a second.
That was
That's
the wrong one.
survey. Yeah,
Sorry.
wrong one.
I copied the wrong one. But please fill out the survey. We'd love to know how we're doing.
Okay.
David, we need to get the interest.
Here's the interest one.
as someone who's on the road listening in, I know the session is being recorded. If you could include the link and or the chat in the recording for those of us who can get to it later. I'm in the northern Shenandoah Valley of Virginia.
Thanks, Daryl. We will make sure that the recording and the copy of the PowerPoint slides are going to be available on NCyTE.net under the membership meeting later today.
It's it's
Thank
for
you.
that you're interested in being notified for when the registration link is up. So when the registration link is up, if you have signed up at that little link there, you will be the first people to know. Okay, so don't get it, maybe post it separately, Mike, so it doesn't get confused with the survey.
Okay.
And there's no HTTPS in front of it, so it's not an actual link. And I would really appreciate anybody that has any interest whatsoever to go fill that out, so we can start getting a feeling for whether this is something people want to do.
Okay, anything else?
So were you going to put that in there, Mike?
Yeah, I don't have the HTTPS in front of it, but
It works though. I just did it.
if you copy and paste it, it will take
yeah,
you to that.
it'll take you right there.
Okay. Okay,
All right, thank you.
Walter, you can, if university faculty should go ahead and sign up. Okay, and we'll see what we can do. I think we're kind of we started going from worrying that nobody would be interested to worrying that too many people would be interested. So we can expand capacity probably. We're trying to be a little cautious the first time out, but you know, if we get a flood of university faculty expressing interest, we'll try to accommodate that.
Mhm.
Something, Sama?
Yeah, if we are like done regarding the discussion of this conference, I just have another question, but it is not very related to today's discussion. Can I ask it?
Sure.
Yeah, I would like to know if you have any support or like any type of grants for middle and high school girls boot camps and workshops in order to like encourage them and introduce them to the cybersecurity field.
We do fund CTE type of activities. So yes, in our center, we do fund, like for instance, we're funding students to go to WISIS this year, but we also do have in our grant support for that type of thing for middle and high school. So maybe you could just email me about what your idea is.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Where can where can I find the email?
It's at the bottom of the slide that's being showed. So csandy@whatcom.edu.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else? I'm excited about this just for the fact that it really applies to business and to the environment and to control systems. So, and the CSET tool, hopefully I'll be able to share that information. Okay. Thank you, Corrinne and Anna.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.